What's going on YouTube? Geosno right here. Cydia was a very important piece of software. It was the most important application you could install after jailbreaking your device. It's where you got your tweaks, themes and stuff like that. So why is it not part of the jailbreaks that are released anymore? What broke it and what's going on? Well, many of you probably still remember Cydia. It looked like this. It was a normal package manager that allowed you to have repositories containing tweaks for iOS. And you would browse the tweaks inside Cydia and of course you would install them through Cydia on your device. It's an application that is actually beloved by a lot of people because it brings back nostalgia, and nostalgia is actually an important factor in here. Nowadays, jailbreaks like Dopamine Jailbreak and like Pelrain, which are currently the most advanced and the latest jailbreaks available, don't even include Cydia anymore. They include Sileo and Zebra. Sileo is indeed a nice alternative to Cydia. It's much more modern, built with compatibility in mind, built with modern design language and advanced features for repos and stuff like that. It supports payments directly to the repo. I'm not even going to get into why Sileo is in fact superior. However, people still believe that a jailbreak is not complete without Cydia. Many people still believe that Cydia was an important part and they are sad to see it not being included anymore. So what happened with Cydia? What broke it in iOS 15 that caused it to be completely wiped out? The lack of Cydia started to be part of rootless jailbreaks. Now, rootless jailbreaks are in fact a response to a change introduced in iOS 15. It's actually about the same time when Apple completely destroyed Cydia. And how did they do that? Well, with signed system volume security. You can read more about it in here, I'm going to link this down below, but in a nutshell, SSV or signed system volume security blocks certain paths from being available. Now, Cydia itself required the following paths, at least the following paths, in order to work properly. The first one on the list is essentially where Cydia would keep its sources, at least one of the paths, and then you had the library mobile substrate dynamic libraries. This is where all your tweaks that you install would be stored. Then you had the applications, that's essentially where the default iOS applications are, and Cydia would install itself there. Then you have the library and USR, bin. These would contain various files and binaries that Cydia would run in the background, because as you can see, Cydia is nothing more than just a UI. It just calls upon other programs in the background to do the job. You want to install something, it calls upon apt and dpkg. You want to refresh something, it calls upon the network APIs of iOS in order to refresh the data, stuff like that. So it's nothing more than just a pretty UI, a user interface, so that you don't have to run a terminal command in order to install a deb file as a package or a tweak. So it absolutely requires access to these paths in order to access the binaries in /bin and USR, and to access the tweaks that are installed, and to install tweaks in library mobile substrate. So when SSV was introduced in iOS 15, it broke Cydia because all these paths became unavailable. Since SSV makes the system partition sealed, you cannot write to it anymore, at least not without triggering a major system issue and of course causing a boot loop. Cydia could no longer do its job. It could no longer write files and read files from the paths that it needed to, which broke Cydia completely. Now, attempts over the years have been made to try to restore Cydia, but they didn't make much of a progress other than to just get the UI that you're seeing right now working on the phone, but it couldn't install anything. And there is really no incentive for people to do so, because even before Cydia broke completely in iOS 15, it was a buggy mess. It's unfortunate, but the creator of Cydia, Jay Freeman, aka Sorik, abandoned the project, abandoned Cydia long before it completely broke. So by the time iOS 10 rolled around, and even before rootless was even a thing, Cydia was completely broken. It was fixed by Luca Tedesco in Yalu, then it was broken again. By the time iOS 11 came around, it was fixed a little bit by Coolstar with Electra, and then it was fixed again by Uncover Team. It was only relying on being completely patched now and again. Each time a new jailbreak was released, the Cydia would break, and of course it would require band-aid patches that would only work for that specific jailbreak, and the next time a new jailbreak is around, it would break again. We now finally have package managers like Sileo and Zebra that are completely updated. They don't break with every new iOS version. They are kept alive by a large team of developers, and these do actually conform to the new standards like rootless and allow repos to work, because nowadays repos are much more complicated than they used to be back in Cydia's days. A while ago, Cydia stopped completely to support paid packages. It's when Sorik essentially pulled the plug on it, and without paid packages, you don't have a community because developers want to be paid. So new repos like Havoc repo came around, and as you can see, many tweaks that are quite good are paid, and the payment is actually being handled directly by the repo. Unfortunately, this kind of repos with this kind of APIs for payments and stuff like that are not supported by Cydia. So even if we fix the SSV issue, even if we fix these paths, you would still not be able to perform any proper installations because you can't even add these repos anymore. Cydia doesn't know what to do with these repos because it was not made to work with these advanced repos. So the new rootless jailbreak is not the problem. The new rootless jailbreak is essentially a fix for SSV because many components of the jailbreak, not only Cydia, were broken at the time when these paths became unavailable. But Cilio was updated essentially instantly, Zebra was updated essentially instantly because they have large teams of developers working on it. Cydia unfortunately has been abandonware for years by the time it got completely nuked in iOS 15, and the requirements to fix it would just not be worth the time because it's buggy, it's essentially stuck in iOS 7 days, and the actual backend of it, the actual code behind it, is a buggy mess. So it's very hard to get it to work properly, especially to get it to work to the standards of Cilio and Zebra. But that's what broke Cydia. That's why you don't see it in jailbreaks anymore. SSV broke it in iOS 15, and then people just didn't want to update it anymore because it's a buggy mess anyway. It will break again by the time the next iOS rolls around, and it's just not worth it with two great alternatives that are up to date and being developed as we speak. So thank you for watching. I am GeoSn0w. Till the next time, subscribe to stay updated, and peace out.